Imagine carrying a silent pain that no one truly understands. A pain you cannot explain. A longing that never goes away. You smile in front of others, but inside, your heart is heavy. You pray, you wait, and you wonder, God, do you hear me? Today we explore the powerful story of Hannah, a woman whose tears became a testimony. Hannah lived in a time when having children was seen as a great blessing, but she had none. Year after year, she lived with this pain. She watched others celebrate, while her own heart remained empty. To make things even harder, she was constantly reminded of what she did not have. She was mocked. She was misunderstood. And deep inside, she felt broken. But Hannah did not turn away from God. Every year, she went to the house of the Lord, not just out of routine, but out of deep longing. One day, her pain became too heavy to carry. She stood before God, not with perfect words, but with tears. She prayed from the deepest part of her soul. Her voice was silent, but her heart was crying out, Lord, if you give me a son, I will give him back to you. This was not just a prayer, it was surrender. She was not asking just to receive, she was willing to give. As she prayed, her lips were moving, but no sound came out. The priest Eli saw her and misunderstood her. He thought she was drunk, but Hannah answered with humility and pain, I am not drunk. I am a woman deeply troubled. I am pouring out my soul to the Lord. At that moment, something changed. Eli said to her, Go in peace, and may God grant you what you have asked. Hannah walked away, but this time, something was different. Her situation had not changed yet, but her heart had. She was no longer carrying the same heaviness, because when you truly give your burden to God, He gives you peace before the answer comes. And then, the miracle happened. God heard her prayer. In time, Hannah became pregnant. She gave birth to a son. She named him Samuel, which means, God has heard. Every time she called his name, she remembered. God listened. God answered. God was faithful. But Hannah's story does not end with receiving the blessing. This is what makes her story truly powerful. She kept her promise. When Samuel was still young, she took him to the house of the Lord, and she gave him back to God. Imagine that moment. The child she prayed for, the child she cried for, the child she waited for. She let him go, not because she had to, but because she trusted God completely. That is true faith. Hannah did not just believe when she was asking. She believed even when it required sacrifice. And God honored her faith. He blessed her again. He gave her more children. He restored her joy. But more than that, her son Samuel became one of the greatest prophets in the Bible. He anointed kings. He led a nation. He became part of God's greater plan. And it all began with a woman who refused to give up in prayer. Hannah's story teaches us something powerful. Sometimes your pain has a purpose. Sometimes your waiting is part of God's plan. And sometimes your tears are planting the seeds of your miracle. You may feel unheard. You may feel forgotten. But just like Hannah, God sees you. God hears you. And God answers in His time. So if you are waiting, keep praying. If you are hurting, keep trusting. Because one day, your story may become a testimony. Just like Hannah, a woman of prayer, a woman of faith, a woman who turned her pain into purpose.